What's up guys, MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I'm doing something a bit different than my normal content. I'm going to show you, in my opinion, the best way to transition from early to mid game. I'm going to give you all the tips and tricks that I would use going back. I am using an account that I haven't used in such a long time. I almost forgot I had it, and it's actually in the perfect spot for me to do this video, so I figured why not and give people something a bit different than my normal endgame content. Now, while this does apply to players who are in early game, one thing I do want to mention is something I did for this account. It was really exciting when I did it because whenever there was like a dull moment in the game, I could always swap to this account and play it. So what I did for this account that was really exciting for me, and if you're bored of the game, looking for something to do, I highly recommend trying this. Log on once a day, collect the playtime rewards, and let your daily login rewards stack up. That's what I did until I fully completed the first 90 days, left everything there after collecting it, and one day I just went on, opened a bunch of shards during actually the Jack Fusion, and I was able to do the Harvest Jack Fusion free to play because I had all of these rewards, energy, so on and so forth, and I just played the game non-stop and got really lucky with my pulls. Let me just show you what I pulled on this account like day one when I first started playing this. So the first Void Shard I ever pulled, I pulled an Ithos. Incredible luck. I fused Jack like I said. I pulled Molly. I pulled the Huntsman Legendary. This account was just insane. I got 2 Royal Guards, Tayrael, Jareg, Cult Brawler, Steel Skull, Aothar. You can see here, I just got the full package, so it was exciting. Obviously, not everyone's going to have this luck. So before I get into things, this is early game as I would describe early game. Early game to me is you have the basics of the game under control, and you just maxed out your first 60 and you can now farm. Once you've done that, in my opinion, you're slowly trying to move to the mid-game part of Raid Shadow Legends. So the first thing I want to emphasize, and I cannot emphasize this enough, always do your arena battles. I know it could suck early on because you're fighting some whales who have level 60s and whatever tier you are, but I cannot stress this enough. Don't slack on your Great Hall status. Great Hall is so important throughout the game. I do plan on doing a video on the most efficient ways to level up your Great Hall, but biggest piece of advice is arena can be annoying early on. It can be really frustrating, but try to make the effort to complete your arena battles every single day and keep working on getting better. So now getting back to what should I do if I want to make the smoothest transition from early to mid game. First thing you should do is start looking at the fundamentals of dungeons, clan boss, arena. What do you need to excel? For arena, the answer is you want a speed leader, however you can get it. Whether it's through a rare you can get from farming campaign, whether you were lucky enough to pull one. I currently have a Jingle Hunter who does have a speed ore for the arena, so as far as arena goes, that's something you should look for moving into the mid game. Always have him as your leader role. The second important thing to look for is an AoE defense down. If possible, you can farm War Maiden from the campaign. She is a red affinity rare. I have Tayrael, so I'm all set in that category. On top of that, you will be looking for an attack down champion. Now, as you can see, I do have Tayrael and Jareg, but for someone who may not have those two champions, Bogwalker is a fantastic option for an attack down champion. Also, there is a new champion that I cannot go without talking about, which is Coffin Smasher. He's probably one of the best rares I've seen in the game that has been placed here. If I'm being completely honest, I can see use for this rare all the way through Ultra Nightmare based on his base stats, the 3-hit A1 attack down. He does have an HP burn. His passive decreases the damage enemies inflict with AoE attacks by 5%. This guy is such a good champion, and I mean, Plarium, I can tell you right now, from this rare, you got something right and you did really good. So getting back to my quick list, on top of those debuffs, you're going to be looking for a revive champion if possible, someone who provides a defense up or some type of heal, so you can really start prepping yourself to be able to complete dungeons as you see fit. topic of dungeons is very important for someone who's early game. I feel like a lot of people waste a lot of time in dungeons when they shouldn't. Dungeons you should really be looking at when you're early game are only the potion dungeons to max out your ascension on your main farmer. Outside of that, I would recommend going as far as you can in the Minotaur and trying to get, let's go to this. I like level 11. It's void, it has a decent drop on what you can get. And as far as how far you should go, as far as your farmer goes, I think 4 points is really solid for your farmer. You don't want to go too far because you can get champions if you're spending money, or even if you get lucky in pulls that can replace someone as it goes. I got lucky and I have Ithos, and I probably won't be replacing him as a farmer anytime soon. So this is what I have to work with. I chose 4 points. I think it was a really solid start, and it wasn't really a waste. As far as these 4 points, I did see a lot of value from them, so that's what I would personally recommend. Outside of the Minotaur and the potion keeps, I strongly recommend, unless you're trying to get tournament points, do not go into any of the Ice Golem, Spider's Den, Dragon's Lair, or Fire Knight. And this is why. I did a test on the type of gear you can get, the probability of getting certain gear, and it is much better to go to the campaign, especially when you're early game, and live inside of Vladimir Strait. Just live inside of here. Level your champions here. Do whatever you have to do. The biggest boost you will get is farming stage 6, getting speed boots, and it will make all of your content so much easier. I cannot stress that enough. Having speed boots, leveling them up to 12, if you get a really good pair, put them to 16. You will fly through content and you won't believe how fast you're going. Because speed boots are so huge, they give such a big boost compared to all of the other mobs in the game that you're fighting, whether it be further campaign trying to finish off the Brutal with 3 stars, moving on to the upper stages of the Minotaur's lair. So I really suggest you farm all of these stages, get a good set of lifesteal gear, and start leveling up food, start leveling up the champions you selected for your defense down, attacks down, so on and so forth. The next part is Faction Wars. Faction Wars is very hard for someone who's early on. The early stages are extremely easy. You can get away with them by literally using food you're leveling up, as long as they're max level, like level 30. I haven't done this. Faction Wars was rather new when I first started playing this account after I collected all of the rewards, so I actually did my first faction war today, as you can see in High Elf. Luckily, I do have Ithos, so that was good. But don't do what I did. Slowly start working on it throughout time. You don't necessarily have to start putting champions aside unless you really want to. Wouldn't be bad to plan ahead that way, but do what you can. The glyphs definitely add up more early game than they do end game. Another thing I want to talk about is Clan Boss. Now, I kind of have a controversial view on Clan Boss. I don't think Clan Boss is important. I'm not going to lie with you. I've gone over the rewards on early game, mid game, as far as which Clan Boss you can get to. Obviously, you have free keys, so you can use them as you would like. But as far as starting to build Clan Boss teams and wasting resources on that, I don't think it's the right approach. I think your main goal going from early game to mid game should be 5 level 60s who are strong at what they do that can help you in dungeons, arena, and eventually Clan Boss, and farming gear. I think that's your main focus, along with obviously grinding arena every day. But Clan Boss, I look at it as an added bonus. Don't say, I have to join a clan, I have to start killing this. Oh, I need a poisoner now, let me stop leveling my attack down and defense down and get a poisoner. I don't think it's worth to push that hard for Clan Boss early to mid game because, like I said, the rewards just don't add up. I look at clans early to mid game as more of a social aspect of the game, and if you have free keys, use it. You do get free stuff. Free is better than nothing, but like I said, nothing really game changing until you can at least start killing Brutal. I think Brutal is a really good first Clan Boss to start focusing on. It doesn't take that long to reach the Brutal level once you have 5 level 60s, so that is something to consider Granted, you know the basics and what you need for a clan boss team. It's definitely very easy when you're early game to get lost because at this point in the game, there is so much content, you're almost overwhelmed with what to do, whether you're new, starting a new account. And a lot of people ask me, when is it worth to 16 a piece of gear for your main farmer? As soon as you get, like for me, I always go crit rate gloves. I think that is the best pair of gloves to put on a farmer to start with. I wouldn't swap it with anything else. Outside of that, if you're using a defense-based champion, use a defense chest. Attack champion, I recommend using an attack. Like I said before, speed boots, getting as much crit rate on other pieces as you can, and keeping your speed decently high is really the key to success for a farmer. So if you can get a piece of gear early on and get lucky with it being a lifesteal or a speed, it's not terrible to mix and match gear. It is much more important to have the right stats that you need. If you find a gear that fits your champion really well, I would say go ahead and 16 it. When you're early, you don't have access to a ton of gear, so if you get a piece that's better, you can always take that piece off, slide it onto your second best champion, someone who provides something similar to the role of the champion you're taking it off, and just keep letting the gear trickle down your champion list like that. The other thing is, don't fall behind on your missions. Missions for, I want to say, the first 2 parts go hand in hand with your progression, meaning if you save them for too long, you're going to have to do content that doesn't match where you are in the game, and that's a huge waste in resources. Always keep an eye on your mission, know what you have next, and the same thing applies to challenges. Know what challenges you have, know what you need to do. Win 3 weapons from stage 1 of Karak Castle on normal. I waited too long for this. Granted, this account isn't a perfect example because this is a secondary account. So right now, if I had to go back and do this, I wouldn't be using a level 60 to do it. I would be using 2 or 3 4-stars that are level 10, just trying to level them up and get the most out of it. Yes, it's not as fast, but I consider energy per action more important than energy spent per minute as far as what you gain from it. This is what you don't want to have happen. Have a level 60 and have a mission like this saying go back to stage 1 normal. So definitely always keep an eye on these challenges, the Arbiter missions, so you can slowly build them up and not have to go back and power through all of them at once. With the new battle pass, they pretty much just added something else to check each day. Make sure you're getting your dailies done. Anything free is an amazing addition regardless, and this just gives you something else to keep an eye on. So make sure you give a decent look at your challenges, missions, and battle pass to see if any of them overlap. It would be awesome if you can do one thing and have 3 things combined that you can knock out at once. Outside of that, I'm sure most people know if you do plan on playing this game for an extended period of time, the gem mine is perfectly good to unlock and worth investing in. So as far as the Sparring Pit goes, I have done the math. You actually do end up getting the energy equivalent of gems back quicker than the gem mine. It is more expensive to unlock all of it at once, and the return is slower from stage 1 than it is to stage 3. This also is based on you being able to check every day and not having overlap time. Realistically, it's about 10 to 15 days longer. So we're looking at 105, 115, 120 days, I would say, if you really want to be realistic about it, until you see a full return from the Sparring Pit. On my main account, I have all 3 of these unlocked to stage 3, and I can say it has saved me a ton of energy because I've been playing for a long time. It has made me so much food in the time I have. Early game, I really like this a lot too because sometimes people are struggling to do 12-3 on Brutal. Sometimes it's really hard for them to get one champion with the proper gear to really push forward on that. Like I said, I recommend farming the Vladimir Straight for lifesteal gear, but this is awesome to throw overnight. Have your farmer who's not 60 yet always generating some type of experience. So make sure this is always full. Alright guys, this was a different video. I hope you liked it. There was definitely a decent amount of content to talk about, but not a ton as far as early game goes. You're definitely overwhelmed with things to do, so hopefully this gives some clarity on how to prioritize things when you want to move to mid-game. Let me know if you like this video. I do plan on doing a mid-game to end-game, which is definitely going to be a much longer, possibly a 2-part series. since in my opinion, mid-game is anything that isn't speed farming level 20 dungeons, 2-key nightmare, 2 to 3 key ultra nightmare. I have a really weird scale on how I do things, just based on what's left, the time needed to really push it further. Let me know if you like this video. Also, leave a comment below if you think the mid-game to end-game video is something that you're looking forward to. I want to get your feedback. What do you want to see in the mid-game to end-game video? Did I miss anything in this video? If I did, I'll absolutely answer you in a reply to the comment below. The only thing I'm thinking of right now that I forgot that I'm looking at is Marketplace. Marketplace is an absolute great place to unlock instantly. I have found so much gear when I was leveling up my other account in the Marketplace, so make sure you're always checking the gear and the substats and the main stats, because this is the easiest way to acquire gear with 0 effort. Alright guys, as always, if you like this video, like, subscribe. I will see you once again in the next video. Take care.